Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Crick House. You join us in episode 3 of series number I have forgotten, but it is the new series for this time of year. So last time we were with you, we were in
Horsham.
No, we were talking about Horsham, but I was going to say we were in June. So welcome to July. For any friends in the States who might be listening to this, July 4th is coming up. Happy Independence Day to you all. It is the semi-quincentennial, I believe, 250 years.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
Again?
Semi-quincentennial.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah,
That's right.
sort of, yeah.
Sort of.
But we are going through the history of the the ministry, Manor family. This has been known by many different names over the years, and if you were with us on the last episode, you will have discovered a few of those. But we are looking back at how the Lord brought us into the ministry, what that looked like over many different years, how the Lord prepared us, some crazy stories, some exciting stories, some testimonies. It's all going to happen as we go through this journey together. So, Mum and Dad, last time we were in Horsham, and we were talking about everything that you guys got up to there. You were helping a lot with youth at your church, and we were just exploring how the Lord led you to start Manor. I think we'd covered the fact that you'd started a little group called Time to Act and everything that happened with that. But if you want to take us on the journey from Horsham, now the last episode descended into chaos.
Yes.
So maybe you want to give a very brief recap.
We'll do our best.
Just
We shall
in
do
case.
all things decently and in order.
We'll do our best.
Well, it's already turning into chaos because we do not have large rats in the living room. What you can hear snuffling and scraping is one of our lovely fluffy Havanese
He's
dogs.
our very cute, fluffy, grumpy director.
But last time we shared how we'd started in a tiny little room in our terraced house that we'd bought, and how we joined together a small group of young people from the community in Eastbourne, and that we'd gone on to perform in a library theatre underneath a library, actually, the big library in Eastbourne.
That's right.
Down in the basement, and how the Lord had started to really move on our hearts, that there was something to this, getting a group of young people together and just creating performances that spoke a message of the gospel and the good news. And then we talked about how we had then moved to be part of Kingdom Faith Church in Horsham.
Just one little thing I want to interrupt with. You are not hearing thunder, people who are listening. It is my mum's feet rubbing the microphone stand. Thank you.
It's actually my feet trying to keep the microphone stand up.
Hang on, we are having some technical intervention. I
Turn it
apologise
around,
for your
take
ears at this
strain.
point.
There we go.
There we go. No, more thunder incoming.
I'm just
Yep,
moving it.
there it is.
Right, wait a minute. Just pretend we're in
I'm
a
going
lovely
to
storm.
temporarily mute her microphone.
We're having a dramatic storm. There you go.
There we go. Right,
Good.
okay, hang on. I've got to bring you back in now because I've muted you. I got the power. Okay, you're back.
Okay, so we had moved to Horsham to be part of Kingdom Faith Church under the amazing Apostle Colin Urquhart, and we then talked about some faith camps I think we were involved in, and being involved in J24/7, and then it fell apart in hysterics. So Gary and I were continuing to work with youth and young people and really feeling a sense of God's calling and direction in bringing theatre alive for the purpose of sharing the good news and the stories from the Bible, and how it was such an underused tool in the Christian church, in the body at wide, and how powerful it was when it actually was used. And we know there were some amazing Christian theatre companies around which are still going, like Saltmine and Riding Lights. But in the main, the church was quite underused with regards to using the creative and performance arts with regards to the Christian faith.
I think
It
a lot
still
of
is,
people,
isn't it?
It is. A lot of people are very nervous of using the performing arts. I think they feel that perhaps there's something taboo about it, which of course there isn't.
I think in general, the performance arts world has been a very difficult industry for Christians to work and perform in, just because of the strong pull to the world. And definitely over the years that we have been working with young people and adults and children who have either come away from term secular, but not specifically Christian performance arts classes or clubs, or even those that were, thinking of pursuing a career in the performance arts in stage schools and universities. The pull in that type of industry is incredibly hard to maintain a fear of the Lord relationship, and to keep yourself just walking close to God. It takes a very special kind of strength to do that, because historically, I think we all believe in this house, the creative arts are an incredible, powerful way the Spirit of God works
Absolutely.
through to show and share his message. And
Absolutely
if we
right.
go back to the original plan, it says in the word that Satan was originally, in not so many words, in charge of music
Yep.
in heaven. So you can see where the culture of being used for things which are totally anti-gospel, anti-Christian is so strong.
Music being
And you came out of the secular theatre world anyway from a start, so you'd seen the other side, hadn't you? Which is perhaps will help drive you to do something with good morals and Christian values.
Yeah, I mean, in my later teens, I was involved in secular, I don't know how else to call it, non-Christian arts, and then even into my adulthood, being involved in musicals and plays that had nothing to do with the Lord in any way.
amateur dramatic things, you mean?
Community, other things, within the community. And although the comradeship was amazing and, special, the lack of conversation, the depth of conversation you could have with people that didn't understand your commitment to the Lord was challenging. And at times, the opportunity to compromise was very, very strong. So we were, as a young married couple, very, very aware that young people with giftings that were clearly from God in music, dance, drama, poetry, spoken word, were being asked to almost put aside who they genuinely were as a disciple of Christ to speak, say, and compromise, sing, dance, act. And almost you had to become two men, two women, a Christian and then a non-Christian, to be in these sorts of arts. And that gave us a real hunger to make a change in that environment.
Absolutely. So when you left Horsham, where did God take you next?
So we were blessed to gain a appointment. Gary gained an appointment in Hertfordshire in a big private school. And when we were there, I mean, are we touching on testimony here, or are we just covering?
No.
story?
Let's do testimony. Let's take them on the journey with us.
Okay, so at this point in our married life, having been in Horsham, I'd started to get a bit poorly when we were actually in Eastbourne. We didn't really know what was happening, what was wrong. I think we covered last episode that we have 4 miracle babies.
Yes, we did. I think that might have been what brought the chaos on.
I think it did.
They're all here.
I think it did, and they're all currently sitting here.
We've got 5 babies, actually, haven't we?
Well, we have 6. We have
6, yeah.
We have 2 with Jesus and 4 currently with us in this world.
What about your bougie babies?
We do have 2 furry babies who are.
We have 3.
Oh, yes, we have a hamster as well. We do. And, so we were obviously told this about the children, but I was, giving you some more thunder. I was incredibly poorly and we didn't know what was happening. We were both having full-time jobs, working for different companies within the Eastbourne area. I actually worked for Kingsway Music and CCL Licensing for a while, and a wonderful Christian accountants, and we were very happy. Thank you very much. Young married couple.
Just got our first house.
Beautiful little house, starting to decorate it, running this children's ministry, drama. And then I just started to get quite poorly. We didn't really understand what was going on. There were a lot of hospital appointments and tests and everything happening. At first, they thought it was ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. And then we saw a very well-educated GP who was actually fantastic. and got some bloods done, got some basic scans and things. And within 24 hours, I was in Eastbourne District General, having most parts of my being scanned in MRIs, heart echoes, echocardiograms, brain scans, all those kinds of things. And within about a week, they thought that I may have something called lupus, which was, it still is, a connective tissue disorder. In fact, my blood levels were so high, they were incredibly concerned about me. And we were kind of quite blown away as a young married couple with this dream for drama.
A bit of a shocker, wasn't it? Yeah.
I can remember vividly Gary running home that night after sort of swallowing the tears, which were quite a lot, and being told that they weren't too sure what was happening. And lupus is a very serious disease, and when the blood levels were that high, it can be life-threatening with kidney involvement. So I just remember Gary coming home and saying more to the score of, not word for word, but how can this be, God? We have dreams, we have visions, we've just got together, we've just got married. And it was like 3 months in to being married.
Absolutely. It didn't seem fair, did it, at the time?
It was, and you know what, I can vividly remember the next day, Gary going to work, and I was left alone in our bedroom, which had only been our room for 3 months. And I was looking around, looking at all the things and the plans we were having as married people. Everything we'd written down about having a dog, how called Flynn, and having boys and and children and all of this. And I was thinking, God, I can't be dying. This is just not what you've talked of. And I switched on the telly, just as you do. And Good Morning Britain or something came on ITV. And would you have it? But there was a doctor on there, and what was he talking about but lupus?
Wow.
How the enemy loves to do that, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
He
at
has
the
his times
time,
as well, doesn't he?
At the time, I didn't fully appreciate that kind of concept in spiritual dynamics. But this doctor was talking about the seriousness of it, and the what you have to, the warning signs for crisis moments. And here am I in my bed, absolutely petrified, crying my eyes out. And I don't know what happened when Gary got home. I think I probably did ring him and had a good cry. But when he got home, I just remember he stayed up, and this was in the time where you had tape recorders.
Whoa.
So we're talking 1997.
Yeah.
I remember Gary being downstairs with his Bible and finding every healing scripture he could find and literally speaking it onto this tape recorder. So he could create me a tape that I could listen to instead of Good Morning Britain in the morning.
I had done that.
I remember going to sleep and waking up in the night and it being really late and going downstairs, and there he was still with his tape recorder, making this awesome tape that I could play to remind myself. And he'd put little things in there like, you are going to be well and we will believe this. And then at the end there was the little I love yous and I'll be back soon from work and all of this. It was
That would have been literally just after you attended the convention, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So
That's right.
for our honeymoon, lots of people say you're crazy, but actually it was the best foundation we could have had as a young married couple.
We went to a fantastic Christian conference, didn't we?
We did in the Birmingham NEC. We went in a Christian conference in Birmingham NEC run by Kenneth Copeland Ministries in the UK. It was absolutely amazing. Such a faith-building time. We were just starting to hear words spoken like this, and it was incredibly new to us.
Needed, wasn't it?
To hear that God was actually a healing God, and that he didn't put sickness on people, that he was a good God. And it was just something we'd never really heard of, and we were really curious. So we decided we'd spend some of our honeymoon at this convention.
I think we spent all our honeymoon at the convention.
Well, it was only evening meetings.
Yeah.
So we did have some honeymoon time. But do you know what? God knew what was coming. In a sense, as he was preparing our spirits to trust him. And it wasn't an instantaneous thing, because we had these dreams of, drama and dance and children and homes and all this stuff. And all my life, I believed that God chose who he healed. I believed he was a healing God, but I didn't understand that, he wasn't the one picking and choosing, and that actually, healing was for all, and it was already done. And so it wasn't like an instantaneous overnight thing, was it? I think we kind of processed for quite a while, having heard this new teaching, and then Gary obviously got this tape thing together. But you know what, the more I listened to this and the more I started to agree and declare his promises and bring them to mind, my body started to get stronger, and the fear definitely got less. And so we were dealing with all of this, and in and outs of rheumatologists and gastros and heart specialists and all of this all the time. We were trying to maintain our life together. Shortly after the diagnosis, I got incredibly poorly, so I stopped work, and about a month or two after that, Gary had to stop work as well. He tried to maintain a few part-time jobs.
Oh gosh, I've never had so many part-time jobs.
We did. What did you do? I'm trying to think. Cleaning the dental estimate board in Eastbourne, where he would go and clean the loos afterwards, and I'd have to go with him because I was collapsing a lot, and so it wasn't safe for Gary to leave me. So I'd just literally sit on these. I remember these swivel office chairs in these rows of desks while Gary was off with his rubber gloves. I'd just sit there and spin round and round and round, waiting for him to finish because it was so boring.
So you were struggling with passing out, and you sat in office chairs and spun round and round and round.
I did.
That's not good for the vertigo.
Sounds like
Something fairly ironic with that.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? People who suffer with balance issues, you'll probably know that you often move a lot to try and compensate.
That's fair.
And and sometimes I was just like, oh, forget this. As a child, I love spinny chairs, and when you've just been newly diagnosed with something, it doesn't suddenly become your identity, and you often forget.
That's right.
You just
so hang on.
sit and do
Thinking about how sometimes things pass down in the family. You span round in office chairs, and Aria, when she was a kid, bounced up and down on it a space hopper?
That. Must have passed that one.
I still spin around on office chairs.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like watching a tornado. Anyway.
Ever stand on one and try and spin at the same time?
That's a really bad
That's
idea.
So
dumb.
we're in
That's like a
Harpington.
gyrocopter.
We're in Harpington, and
Wait,
God's
is
brought
this
you
the
there.
house where you painted the big mermaid mural
Tell
on
us-
the wall?
Tell us how manna comes in. Like, how does your testimony bring you to manna?
Well, that would come from the school we started to work at, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, see, so we were still dealing with, well, no, because the part-time job thing is important because Gary was holding down all these part-time jobs and just, a morning one, an evening one, and I would sit in the van with you while you were delivering meat, and you stank of raw meat, and it was not great.
Tasted nice.
Yeah, but
The chicken man.
so we were just trying to sort of survive on all these little part-time jobs, and very often you'd lose them because you'd have to be a bit unreliable because you couldn't come because I was too poorly to come and spin on a spinny chair. So it came to the point where we were like, God, what's going on? So Gary had to become a full-time carer and give up work totally, and we were living on income support. But we just knew inside of us that God had better and bigger things. And in the process of being on income support, we saw this job advertised for a residential site manager team member up in Harpington. And we kind of thought, could that be the answer? Like home is on site, and if needed, Gary can come back. And he kept coming to check on me, and I'd rest, and he'd leave me to sleep. And anyways, so we went for the job, and praise God, God gave it to you.
I got the job.
And I remember writing in my diary what it felt like to have our first fish and chips as a married couple after so many years of literally having just to go without.
That's right.
I remember feeling how good it was. And little did we know that this wasn't
Costa now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just,
We'll get to that bit.
little did we know that the job actually involved the call as well.
Yes. It's amazing when God sets these things up.
And that God wasn't just interested in blessing us with a wage for the first time, but by then we had Noah and Ari. Ari's ballet school was on the school site, which also we didn't know about.
Oh, was it?
Gary used to walk her across the playground.
I used to
on
carry
his
her on my shoulders
across to the dance school.
Was this like the big hall with the big windows?
I think so.
Because I just have this image of being in this class doing ballet, and there's this big window, and Noah's outside playing football.
Yeah, that probably was, because we also had Noah's birthday party there, which we actually turned up for an hour late.
We forgot what time it was.
We forgot what
Well,
time we
let's not talk about how many things you've forgotten on my birthday, shall we?
32 children.
Yeah, but I wasn't even here yet.
32 children from his class were invited.
None of this was as
and
fun.
we turned up an hour late, and the whole hall wasn't set up or nothing. I thank God you had so many really good friends, and they were my friends as well, and all the mums sort of jumped in and mucked in. But I was also became pregnant with Oscar at,
Hey, there
at
I
the
am.
house.
Ah, yes, this was when Mother couldn't carry me up the stairs anymore, and I became very jealous of you because you were pregnant.
I didn't even exist properly yet.
You were the first child to be born on a residential school.
You were the
Hey.
first child to be born in this school.
Why not?
But we didn't know that actually what we thought was an answer to the incapacity in my life actually was the answer to the capacity of God showing
Yeah.
up. And that actually the fact that,
When you're weak, I am strong.
that there was a group of young people on this site, and actually it didn't start there, because we just had a sense that we just needed to do something regardless of what my body was shouting. And we kind of figured I could probably manage about an hour. So we hired a little hall above Safeways? No. Anyway.
Safeways, Waitrose, something like
It
that.
wasn't Waitrose. No. Something else. Summerfields?
Summerfields, yes.
Oh my goodness.
I think it was one of Co-op's competitors.
Maybe.
It was like a
Or did it
knockoff
become
little shop,
Co-op?
wasn't it?
We hired this hall above Summerfields, and
Flashback, that one.
we advertised to the local area. A local home education group got in touch. There were some children from Noah's class who were there, I think, just because they liked Noah.
Wait, hang on. Summerfields is a shop. I thought it used to be the town we lived in.
No, Summerfields was a shop.
It was a shop.
But
It was acquired by the Co-op Group in 2009.
There you
Wow.
go. There you go.
Did it have like a yellow logo?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, blue and yellow, looked like Poundland.
Yeah, you're talking about girls coming because of Noah. Was that the twins?
There were two little girls in Noah's class that really liked Noah, and then there was another one. And they only started coming to Manor because they were in Noah's class, and their mother, who was lovely lady, but always wanted her children to do very well, which was fine.
Oh my word! I found a photo of Summerfields in Harpenden.
Oh, there you go. She asked if I would help her children to perform in the Arts Fest in Noah's school. And I wasn't yet doing Manor, but she knew I had a sort of artsy background, so I said yes. So I trained Noah and another little boy and 3 girls who all quite took a shine to Noah to do a song to Teddy Bear's Picnic theme tune. And they were all dressed up
We still have this on videotape.
in
Yes, we do.
all their
I
different
do, I've got
cooker, like a baker and a gymnast and a ballerina, and they all stood there and when you go down to the woods today and to that tune. And Noah was there, and yes, we do have the evidence on video. Anyway, after that,
If you send in a certain amount of money, we will send you.
Is that the one where Harry? fell off
Oh
the
my
stage?
word, Oscar!
No, that was the Christmas when I was the angel.
No, I am. It's just a joke.
Noah is still single.
That
by the
video
way.
is staying firmly in the archives.
And I'm not singing Teddy Bear
Here
Picnic
at
for
the
anybody.
house.
at the end of the Arts Fest, and we decided that we would launch out and try and start a Manor class, which we did. And in the top of Summerfields, we took about 7 to 10 children and began to teach them dance, drama, music with a Christian ethos.
Yes.
And the first performance we ever did
Oh,
was
gosh.
called Tatty Bogle.
Tatty Bogle.
Tatty Bogle, the scarecrow.
What a startup show.
Ariel had an amazing friend called
Tatty
Camberley,
Bogle.
Dead.
who is now
Well, I still do.
is still married. Still married.
Still married, just
friends.
married.
Still friends, and they are. She's now married, and Ari's married, and her mum was one of my absolute closest friends, more of a sister than a friend. And yeah, it was an amazing time. But God wanted to expand it. And suddenly it went from being primary school age children to children on the boarding school site found out that we were artsy. will remember. And one particular young lady who was so enthusiastic asked if I might consider doing something with the boarders, which were 15 to 17-year-olds, 15 to 18.
Yeah, roughly about that, yeah.
Maybe younger. Anyways, we had a chat with the chaplain who agreed we could use the chapel on site. And before we knew it, one of their arts rooms and then the chapel became rehearsal space for about 15 young people. And we quickly developed like a black T-shirt and a uniform. And we still have pictures of this crew.
Yes, we do,
that would get together.
And this is where Spider-Man dude came in.
No.
From the last episode, you're still going after Spider-Man,
No,
dude.
I'm trying.
Come on.
Was this
Come on. When you used to rehearse in the chapel on this private school, this guy, every week, I would go up to him because I was about 7. Do you remember? And he was an illustrator and he had to draw me all my favourite people. And it started off with him drawing me a sketch of Spider-Man. Do you not remember this?
No.
If you are out there, Spider-Man dude, please contact us.
There was another set of twins there as well, wasn't there?
In
The
Spider-Man,
group in-
dude.
the school.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, it's going back. I'd have
Topsy
to look
and
at
Tim?
the photos.
No, it was 2 sisters.
These girls and guys were amazing.
Seen Turn.
Absolutely amazing. I still keep in contact with one of them now. So inspiring. Beautiful, beautiful people. And we actually ended up performing in the YWAM base on Harpenden, which was another God connection.
That was, wasn't it? That was amazing.
Because we've done a lot of stuff at YWAM bases over the years.
We have.
now.
Yes, we have.
Thanks to Andy and Kath in Nuneaton.
Some awesome people there.
Awesome couple.
we had our
family.
first backdrop, which was lots of white sheets or
I think they raided the arts room. If I remember rightly, they were like, "Oh, we can do this," because we lost all our staging and stuff at the chapel. There was some other event or something happened. I can't remember the details of it, but we ended up having to use the YWAM base, and the students were just awesome. They were like, "We could do this," and such a great group of youngsters that just gelled. I mean, I think the most important thing that sticks in my mind really was. One of the girls said to me that although they lived in the same boarding house until Manna came in, they didn't actually know that each other had loved Jesus because their faith was quite private. And it was special to see different denominations, but not just different denominations, but different nations. Because being boarders, some of them came from, Europe, some of them came from China, African nations. Some of them were from good old Hertfordshire. But they were together and working together.
Yeah, and it created a unity amongst them, which was just
I
fantastic.
do remember Spider-Man dude now.
Thank you. I'm not crazy.
He's come back to me. He's come back. I can't remember his
Contact us,
name.
Spider-Man,
I
dude.
can't remember his name.
Tell us your
He
name.
had short curly hair.
Yeah, I can see his face.
So, if you have short
You were
curly
2.
hair, or
No, but I can see the face of the twins and of the girl from China and the girl and mum's still in contact. I can
Are
recognize.
you sure you're not seeing this from a photo you've seen when you
No, because I
were
remember
more
sitting
developed?
next to one of them in the pews watching the performance.
if you have short
Okay.
curly hair,
Okay.
and indeed you still do or did once,
Did his name start with a J?
do contact us if your name started with a J. And you remember my brother at 7 years old.
His name was Noah.
For
Craig.
whatever reason, you might.
It is a
remember
little
that.
bit specific.
He had girl
Anyway,
long hair.
we are running out of time for this
We were just saying
episode.
about the unity that was created amongst the boarders that were Christians. It was absolutely awesome to see. They even it even got to the point where they wanted to start their own
4.
prayer group within the boarding school, which was sadly frowned upon and didn't continue, which was a real shame. But there you go. But it just created this amazing team of young people that got on so well, discovered who all the Christians were within the boarding school, and it just took off.
I think it's just a glowing example of how what the enemy meant for harm, God worked for good.
Oh, he does.
You know, you went through all that trouble with your jobs, and your health, and yet God lined up another job for you that not only allowed you to have a paid, proper position, but allowed you to be in the same place where Mum was, so that you could work and be close to her at the same time, hold down a job. And not only that, he kickstarted your ministry. whilst you were there in two places, one above Summerfields and one in a chapel on a private school. And God did do incredible things through that group, in both groups, even with Tatty Bogle.
And Oscar was born there. Which
And Oscar was born
When was
there.
I born? When was I born? In how long after this group?
You were
was I
born on June the 5th. Why
Yes,
why don't you know this?
No, yeah. Like what? When was I born in that time period? How was it? While you were still doing the drama group?
Let's just say that you were born on the sofa.
thanks for that.
This was in the days of Nintendo DS.
What?
Because
this was in
I
the
had
days-
I'm
an
trying to clarify.
I
when
had
I was
an in-
born.
Toys R Us.
This is
don't know
this
your
was in the days of
birthday.
DIY SOS.
And here we go. We fall apart.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, do you remember Toys R Us?
I know when my birthday
so
is. What I'm trying to clarify is when in the story did I come in,
So
At some point.
you were born in the middle.
and what change did I make in your life?
And with that note, we have run out of time for today's episode.
come
So
on.
join us next
This is getting
time
interesting.
to hear all about how Manor continued on from Harpenden. The next journey from here brings us to a very
I found a
important
picture.
part.
I need some
There's
sleep now.
Spider-Man, dude.
What?
You still have this photo?
We have your photo, Spider-Man dude.
Could you put that as the podcast?
Yes.
No,
Oh, you can't put it as the
see?
We
picture.
can't.
Can I see?
I haven't got GDPR permission
Anyway,
going back
whilst
that
the,
far. I
while
mean,
the ladies of the
technically
house are
GDPR
reminiscing
didn't
over
exist,
Spider-Man.
but there you go. Well, anyway, join us next time because
Where's
we are
Spider-Man?
going to continue our journey through Mum's healing journey and also what Manor has been doing and what Manor is eventually going to do. Some exciting things coming up. But we will take a deep dive into Mum's healing journey because it begins to really play a strong part in the timeline here. It takes us to a new part of the country. We start something well, I was going to give something away. We start something that goes way bigger than I think we'd ever imagined. And the Lord did absolutely incredible things through it. And it is genuinely the golden age, I think,
It involves
of Manor.
150 children.
It involves 150 children.
It certainly does.
And it's
And
coming
Converse
back.
shoes.
Yes, it's coming back.
yeah.
It's coming back in the new year. So brace yourself. If you are
gonna be
from
memory
that
lane here,
era,
isn't it?
if you are from that era of Manor, you've got
gonna
some
need
exciting times coming up.
Sienna's power of memory.
If you are listening to this episode and you know the time that we're talking about, get in touch with us. Send us some of your favourite memories, some of your favourite stories. We would love to read them on the podcast. So you all know, you're all from a certain area. But if that's you, let us know what your favourite memories are. We would
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that'd be
love to
great.
hear them, and we'll read them on the next episode. So brace yourself, because this is where things get really, really interesting, and God starts to do absolutely incredible things. So from all of us here at the Crick House, thank you for joining us, and it is a big goodbye.